Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited to be with you once again for another episode of Cinecut, where I'll be showing you how I created this spec ad campaign for the Weeknd and for Roots Canada. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Woo! Well, as you can see, I am super excited to be with you once again. I love doing these types of videos where I'm kind of breaking down my workflow, my approach to a project. And obviously you're watching Cinecut right now, and it's all about digital storytelling, techniques, approaches, and the gear that I use. And for those of you that subscribe to the channel and that follow sort of my vlogs, a few vlogs ago, if that makes any sense, I created a vlog and shared a vlog about me doing a top secret project for Roots Canada. That's the jacket. And for those of you that don't know who Roots Canada is, it is one of the top and the most historical brands within Canada. It's a clothing brand, a apparel brand, and a lifestyle brand, all kind of wrapped up in one. But one of the most notable things that they do is they create varsity jackets. And, you know, a few weeks ago was I believe it was the 10th anniversary of the Weeknd's first mixtape album called, I believe it was called Balloon Room or Paper Balloon, or don't really quote me on that because I don't follow the Weeknd that much. But nevertheless, Roots Canada reached out to me because they were doing a collaboration with the XO team, which is the Weeknd's creative team, and they were creating a new varsity jacket to celebrate his very first album coming out 10 years ago. So obviously I jumped at the opportunity to create this video for this iconic brand and for this iconic artist. A lot of the components of these jackets are handmade, hand stitched, and customized for a specific type of look, feel, and fit. And that was sort of the idea that we want to give in the video. We want to create a video that allowed people to kind of see behind the veil, behind the curtain, how these sort of jackets and how iconic leather, really well-crafted jackets were made. And even for myself, I was super surprised at how much detail and how much time and how much effort goes into making one of these jackets, let alone 400, 500, 1,000 of these varsity jackets. The good thing about this project was I did not have to necessarily worry about audio too much. There was not going to be anybody speaking, no talking heads, no A-roll that way. What we were really focusing on as A-roll and B-roll is just the process, the different processes that these jackets go through. The fabric cutting process. Then you have, you know, the stitching process. You have the inseam and the outseam stitching process. You have all of the badges and all of the cuffs and all of the buttons being attached. Then you have like zippers being attached. Then you have the whole jacket being assembled all together. And then once you assemble the whole jacket, then you have to flip it from it being inside out to being outside in. If that makes sense. I don't know if it did, but you'll get what I'm saying. What we did first was we kind of scoped out the factory and made sure that we could find interesting areas to start filming in the space, because again, the space is a factory. It's not really super interesting. The next thing that we did was we were able to find finished products of that jacket, or finished sort of concepts of that jacket, and we laid them down. We did sort of lay flat layouts, and myself and the photographer and O'Shane, we kind of were filming all the detail shots and just starting to get a rhythm of how we wanted to tell this story of this jacket being made. We kind of went in reverse, and the only reason why we went in reverse is because there was a lot of staging that needed to be done in the background and in behind the scenes before we actually were able to film, because they had to set up the machines for the badges, for cutting the material. They had to set up a lot of different situations within the factory. And as we were waiting for those things to develop, we need to shoot other things while that was happening. After we filmed the completed jacket, what we did next was we actually filmed a person cutting the material that was going to be used to make a brand new jacket. And this was kind of cool because this allowed us to actually see the actual material, the actual chalking, the outlining, all of those different pieces that came together or contribute to making all of the templated pieces that bring the jacket together. So again, there was nothing that was like pre-made before. This is all being made as we were filming, which is super cool. So my approach to the cutting station was to film with 2 cameras because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how quickly this lady was going to be able to get through all of the material. And I really wanted to be able to have shot selections and shot options. So the only way I could do that was to make sure that O'Shane was on one camera and then I was going to be on another camera. And then that way we could have 2 different angles all at the same time, being able to capture as much as possible. Once we left from there, then we were actually invited to go into the stitching room. So the tricky thing about filming this part of the day was the fact that the patches are on different parts of the jacket. And because the jacket wasn't assembled yet, wasn't created yet, wasn't made yet, we had to kind of cheat it. So what we did was we actually got a scrap piece of the material that actually the jacket is made up of, and we just kind of laid it flat. And then the manufacturers actually programmed the machine to create these patches on this scrap piece of material with the hopes of me being able to include those shots into the final edit. So the thing that was really, really cool about these machines was they were hella loud and noisy. But then they were also interesting because they used different parts of the machine to create the different patches. So there was a lot of different things happening all at the same time. I had O'Shane on a static shot, just kind of getting the needle going into and piercing the fabric and creating the design. And then I was getting a whole bunch of different, highs, low shots, really detailed shots, wide angle shots, behind the machine shots, shooting through certain parts of the machine, and just trying to be as creative as possible when it came to getting a variety of shots. There were like 20, like a row of like 10 and 10, so like 20 other patching machines that were working on another assembly, a totally different product. But I loved how it looked where all of these different machines were working simultaneously to create a design. But I didn't want that other product that wasn't the product I was showcasing to be shown in the shot. So what I did was I shot kind of on an angle through the machines that were lined up together to get all of that simultaneous sort of action together, machine work together, to show that level of detail and that level of sort of interest. Now, speaking of lighting, I did bring a light. I brought my Godox 150 LED light, spotlight, and I didn't actually use it. And the reason why I didn't use it was because there was a lot of natural light as well as a lot of just bright light within the space. And because of the timing of everything, and because we were like really running and gunning, both O'Shane and I, we just didn't have time to really run around, set up a C-stand, set up sandbags, all that sort of stuff. So we just had to do what we had to do. Luckily, between the A7 Mark III and my Zcam S6, they're light sensitive enough that we were able to get everything that we need to get. Fun fact, I actually forgot to take off my ND filter off of my Zcam body. So I was actually shooting all of these shots with the ND engaged. It was engaged at the lowest level, but it was still engaged. And I'm super impressed and surprised with the actual performance of the sensor, considering that I was shooting in some dark places, as well as I had basically shades over the sensor, and there's not a lot of noise that was introduced into any of the shots. So after discussing with the creative director of the shoot and some of the other creatives on this particular production, we decided to actually set up another hero shot at the Roots headquarters. And that's where you saw me in my vlog a couple weeks ago. And the last setup that we did for this particular shoot was we were filming this station, which is kind of like called the assembly station. And this is where all of the jacket gets assembled together. So imagine somebody has, the cuffs, and then somebody has the zipper and the front chest part, and then another person has the arms. And then the last station is where this one lady who's like the master supervisor sewer assembles all of the components of the jacket together. So we filmed simultaneously with O'Shane and myself, filmed all of those stations happening all at once. And then we filmed the lady putting it all together. So I really wanted to engage with the audience in this edit by grabbing their attention really, really quickly. The way I did this was I grabbed all of the sort of quick moving shots, and then I connected that with the branding and the logo and the sort of imagery of Roots and the imagery of EXO and the Weeknd. And then with the color grade, I really wanted the color grade to be as naturalistic as possible. I didn't want it to be super poppy with color, super contrasty, but also to match the tonality and the vibe of the actual album art. And this is how it came out. I hope you enjoy it. And that ends another episode of Cinecut with your host, me, Tristan Barrocks. I hope you learned something, you laughed out loud, and you had fun too. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to hear them down in the comment section below. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel and support, because I'm going to be doing a lot more dope videos like this. As well, if you like this video and you found it to be helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it on your feed. Until the next time, have a great day. Peace.